Hello, fellow Crusaders, and welcome to our episode. My name is Sean Wasker. With me, as always, is Brian Michaels. And today we're going to be discussing one of the more anticipated films of the summer. One more for me, more so than Brian, and that is Star Wars, The Mandalorian, and Grogu. Now, for some people, me, and used to be for Brian, I'm a huge fan of The Mandalorian. I love the show. I actually went back and rewatched the entire series before the movie came out, even the 2.5 on Book of Boba Fett. Went back and rewatched it. Just so that way I could kind of because that's the thing. It's I don't think anyone really knew what this movie was going to be. Is this the finale of Mando? Is this just an in-between before season 4 comes out? They haven't really said, and I think a lot of that's just going to depend on how the box office goes for this, is whether or not we're going to get more Mando, whether it's going to be another movie or whether it's going to be season 4. I don't think anyone really knows what's going on yet. So it was kind of a big mystery on how this was all going to play out. For me, I was still genuinely excited because I enjoy watching these characters and their journey and stuff like that. Brian, on the other hand, would want nothing more than for Grogu to be murdered.
I want to see him roasting over an open fire.
Okay, let me ask you this before you jump. Who do you hate more, Grogu or the Minions?
The Minions are more obnoxious, but
Yes.
I can ignore the Minions and just not watch those movies. Grogu has taken over Star Wars, and to his point where it's just get the fuck out of my property. You know?
Yeah, but Minions are taking over the zeitgeist whenever they're around. At least with Grogu, it's Star Wars centric stuff, though. But
that doesn't help. No.
But yeah, so you guys know my thoughts about Mandalorian, Brian. I mean, obviously, outside of your hatred of Grogu, what are your thoughts on Mandalorian?
Well, I haven't rewatched it, so I watched them all when they aired, but I have not rewatched them since then. When it first started, I felt because it's the first Disney Plus Star Wars, the first Disney Plus show, I think, of anything, or one of them. And so I'm okay, they're going to put some Star Wars stuff on TV, and they're going to do these, it was more of an episodic thing. It's kind of showing him going a different adventure every, episode kind of thing. And I was okay, this can be an enjoyable, TV thing. But then it was clear it was becoming this bigger overarching thing, which they obviously eventually decided to throw into a movie. But while I enjoyed the show, I was I don't really see that we need to see a Mandalorian movie. But like you said, I didn't know what it was going to be. I'm maybe it'll be worth, the jump to the big screen. Well, we'll have to wait and see about that. But, as the seasons went on, because at the end of the first episode, I think it's when you first see Grogu. And I was oh, look, it's a cute little baby Yoda. And I'm okay, that's going to involve things like that in the show. But I didn't realize he was going to become the focus of the show. And that was my biggest problem, is that Grogu became the focus of the show almost more than the Mandalorian, Din Djarin, whatever his name is, himself. And everything about him was oh, look how cute little Grogu is. Look at the cutesy little fun things he does. Isn't he adorable? And I'm just it didn't, especially in the kind of show that the show felt like before, they put too much focus on him. It just felt out of place. If they want to make a kid's show, they've had some kid-centric, Star Wars shows, whether it be animated or live action, and you put him in that, and I'd be fine, that's fine. Let that be its thing, But why are we putting Muppet babies in the middle of a real Star Wars story? That's what really bothered me about it so much. I don't hate the concept of Grogu so much that I hate the fact that he's become such a huge focus, and he kind of overshadowed everything else about the Mandalorian that I liked. For instance, in the last season, I really enjoyed the whole, with all the other Mandalorians, especially with Bo-Katan and her, troops and all that.
The whole retaking of Mandalore.
Yeah. And that stuff is all, spoiler alert, not even mentioned in the movie. That's not even a part of the story anymore. It's just okay, we're done with that because we got to focus on Grogu. And so that's what bothers me about it. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, in your defense, Grogu was only supposed to be a 2-season arc. As soon as Luke showed up in season 2 to take Grogu, that was supposed to be it. That was the story, and that's what it was. But of course, Disney was oh no,
look at all the merchandise he's selling.
We got to make toys. We got to continue this. This is our cash cow. And you could tell in season 3, how much they were having to kind of force Grogu into the story because he wasn't supposed to be in the story, which is why, you know, it's not that season 3 felt uneven. It just felt that like when Grogu was around, it was more forced than natural how it was in the first 2 seasons, which case in point is why they had to do what they did with Book of Boba Fett, where they're like, hey, we got to stop this show and do a 2-episode arc to bring it back to the forefront. So that way season 3 makes sense for why Grogu's back. Yeah. And that's Disney doing Disney things, which is a disservice for the Din Djarin character and Mando. But I mean, like, I still enjoy them both. But that was kind of the big worry that I had coming into this movie is I love the show, love the characters, happy to see them finally back after, what was it, been 3 years since season 3. But the big question is this worth being a movie? You know,
not only is it worth being a movie, but not only is this worth being a movie, is this worth being the first Star Wars movie we've seen in 7 years?
Or 7 years, yeah.
Since Rise of Skywalker.
When you're taking a TV show and making it a movie, you're doing it because it's either a finality of the series or you're doing something that you could not do on the show. Case in point, look at like Firefly to Serenity. They had a bigger budget with Serenity. They were doing kind of a finality story of that. They were able to get a bigger budget, better stars for it instead of just the TV show aspect. There was a reason why Serenity was a thing and not just an episode of Firefly. And same thing with some other films or movies that were films as well. So it's like with Mando, it's like, okay, is there something that you guys are going to do story plot wise or budget wise that we wouldn't have got with the show? And that was kind of my main worry is, are you going to be able to prove this? Or am I going to go, why the hell was this not just an episode or a season of the show? And that was the worry that I had going into the movie. Plus, word of mouth has not been strong about Mandalorian and Grogu coming into this. But I also know that when it comes to Star Wars, first thing you do is don't listen to the outside noise. Because everyone is so, like, you either fucking love Star Wars or you're anti-everything Star Wars. So when you go into it, if you want to let that shit get in your head, then you're already screwed. So you just got to turn off all that noise. Basically, the only anti-Star Wars I've got to a point is Brian. You know, and I can't turn Brian off. Brian's just always around. So going into the review, for me personally, non-spoiler, if we have anything we want to talk spoiler, we'll talk about it at the end. My thoughts of the film. It did not do anything that made it separate itself from the show. It did not at all. This felt like 2, maybe 3 episode arc of the TV series put on theater screens, which they do that. I mean, the Boys series finale was just put in theaters so people could watch it on big screen, but they still can watch it at home. This felt like an introduction to people who don't have Disney Plus that should start, or that Disney wanted to go, this is what you guys have been missing when you guys haven't been watching The Mandalorian, is this. And so it felt very much like a introduction to fans who have not paid for Disney Plus to try to get them to go to Disney Plus and watch the adventures of Mandalorian and Grogu. Because in my opinion, where this movie starts with Grogu and Mando, they're the exact same point when the movie ends. There is no growth for these characters. There is no movement of these characters. They're still at point A when this film ends. Doesn't mean that I didn't enjoy the film. Didn't mean that I didn't enjoy watching, these 2 characters on screen doing their adventures. But it also comes down to, what was the fucking point of this? Because you did not. There are some cool sequences. I will say the opening sequence. And I don't know if it was Hoth, but it definitely was a snowy planet. That whole opening sequence, fantastic. I fucking love that. I watched that and I was like, hell yes. Okay, cool. Then after that, it was just kind of like, all right, now we're just watching the TV show. And I'm gonna admit, I did just get off a 10-hour shift when I went in to watch this. I nodded off like 2-3 times while watching it. Granted, I was relaxed, I was comfy, but there was a couple times where I was like, I must have nodded off for a couple minutes because I don't remember how we got here. Like I was just like I remember them being in an arena, like Rada, and then being in an arena, and then all of a sudden they were no longer there and they were somewhere else. I'm like,
you missed a big thing there then. Okay.
Oh no, I missed the whole like arena battle. Like I don't remember it. I don't remember the escape. I don't. I heard they were gone. They had escaped, and then also there's a certain aspect of something that happens to Mando near the end of the second act. I don't know what happened to him. I just know that.
So this is Sean's half-informed Mandalorian review. Okay.
No, but it was just one of those things where it's like the story outside of the first scene, the story did not grab me. It did not hook me. It just felt comfortable to the point where I was just like, okay, yeah, I'm watching Mandalorian, and it's like, and I wasn't bored. It was just, it's what I'm used to, and I'm relaxed, and I'm watching it, but the stakes weren't ever high for this. And I think that by the end of it, I spent most of the movie, when I was actually watching it, I spent most of the movie just like that. It was just like, I wasn't like, or I wasn't even like mad because like there's nothing actively, well, I wouldn't say bad, but there's nothing in the movie where I'm like, oh my God, this is so awful. Everything is baseline fine. Everything's baseline good, but it never, like, outside of the opening sequence, it never like bumps the needle and goes, oh, it never goes there. Just baseline stays exactly in its safe zone. It never dips. It never peaks. It just stays there. And then the movie's over. And I'm just like, well, shit. Like, I don't want to say I'm disappointed, but at the same time, I'm just like, well, fuck, what was the point of this whole thing? I think casting Jeremy Allen White as Rada was pointless because his voice is like groveled and auto-tuned, yeah. So it's like you could have told me that, you know, Ryan Reynolds or Hugh Jackman or somebody else voiced Rada. I'd be like, okay, cool. I couldn't tell you if that's true or not, but so what's the point of casting Jeremy Allen White? Because there was nothing in that performance of Rada that made me go, yeah, that's Jeremy Allen White.
Well, and I also have to say that first of all, seeing a muscular Hutt is just fucking weird and awkward.
Seeing a Hutt with abs is, I don't know how to feel about it.
I thought he looked ridiculous having his muscular Hutt.
He did. I got used to it, but
what made it even weirder, because they cast Jeremy Allen White, is just having a Hutt just speak normal English. Like, what is going on here? And it wasn't one of those things where it's like, you know, we're hearing it, but they're really speaking another language. No, he was just speaking English. Like,
especially when the twins were talking like Hutts do, like, oh, and then you got, hey man, I'm just doing what I can do, man. I got one more fight and then I'm gonna be good. It's like,
yeah,
you are Jabba's kid. We do know how Jabba speaks, and Jabba technically, in terms of the story, has been dead maybe 6 years, 9 years. So how'd the dialect change?
Well, and the only thing I was trying to find a way to defend this decision, or at least explain it. And the only thing I can think of is that like, well, he was kidnapped at such a young age, and so he grew up around his people, basically learning English as his primary language.
Because he got kidnapped in the Clone Wars cartoon movie. Because that's like Ahsoka's mission, her very first mission is to save Rada. So I mean, there's a callback for animated fans, and of course Zeb from Star Wars Rebels is in it. So for the animated watchers, but continue.
But I was just saying it was even weird and strange to see him talking in English. So I was just referring to the Jeremy Allen White cast. You can continue.
Yeah, it's just it just felt like Star Wars is one of the few movies that you can get away with casting fantastic voice actors and not name cast, because we just need these people to have really good vocals, whether it's speaking an alien dialect, an alien language, or something else. You don't need, unless it's like a human character, you don't need big name stars. We need big name voices. You know, go get
Which
freaking
I mean, go ahead.
Go get like Nolan North to go voice Rada, or Troy Baker. You know, people who from video games that we know are amazing at that. You know, hell, you could have been funny and casted fucking Mark Hamill to do the voice of Rada, like just to do something like Easter, like you know. But like, don't cast like some big name star and then don't give us any reason to go like that's that you.
Well, because
You
like
didn't
the
have to tell
whole
me who it was.
in this movie, well, in the entire series too, but in this movie, I think it's ironic that that's an issue because like Pedro Pascal cast as the Mandalorian is kind of a joke. 95% of the time, it's Brendan Wayne, and I love that they gave him second billing. By the way, right after Pedro Pascal, they put Brendan Wayne,
And then the other one was third billing.
Yeah, because he's because there's an actual stunt double, but Brendan Wayne's doing most of it. Just whenever you see him walking around, the only time I'm pretty sure that Pedro Pascal is in that suit is when they take off the helmet, which they made sure to do like one time in this movie for no reason, and then like in the series they do it like every 4 or 5 episodes. There'd be something.
That's not true. Coming from someone who just rewatched it, whole first
it was
season,
even less, wasn't it? Yeah.
Whole first season, he's only unmasked for I think 2-3 minutes in the finale of season 1. He is unmasked for like 5 minutes in one episode of season 2, and then he's not unmasked at all in season 3.
Yeah, so even less than I thought. So he's basically just the voice actor. I mean, he has a recognizable voice, and yes, they want to have a name to have this thing hinge on. And so I understand that. But then it became this thing, like especially in this movie, where there's a scene where they take off his helmet really for no reason at all. I mean, they give a reason, but it's just like we just need to have one scene where you see Pedro Pascal, so everyone can just assume it's him the whole time when clearly it's not. So I find it ironic that they have such a thing about we need to cast a name actor for Rada the Hutt, for example, like you were talking, when even Pedro Pascal is probably only working for like a week, and half that week's just doing voiceover in the booth.
I mean, same thing even goes with adding Sigourney Weaver to this. Like, she's got 3 scenes.
3 scenes, I think. Yeah.
In this, which great, we all love Sigourney.
Yeah.
Did we need to cast Sigourney in this? No.
I don't mind her.
No, I mean, I'm not mad she's in it, but she didn't need to be in it either. I mean, you could have gotten, and you could have gotten the one actor. I'm blanking on his name, who's been the one rebel pilot that has talked to Mando throughout the whole series, which he basically is in the movie for like a blink and you miss it moment. And for people who don't know yet, there are no cast members from the TV series in this movie.
Well, that's what you were talking about.
Grogu and the pilot.
You talked about how they wanted to make this movie like an entrance point, like to tell people, who didn't watch the show, here's what you've been missing. And I know a lot of times when they take something from TV and put it to movies, they want to make it so you can enjoy it even if you did not watch the show. And I get that. But they did it by basically pretending the show didn't exist. Aside from the fact that Grogu is with Mandalorian, which they don't explain that. You just kind of just go with the fact that he's with it. If you haven't watched the show, you're just like, okay, these two are together. There's no mention of anything pretty much that ever happened in the show. It's just
absolutely
like, here's an adventure. And therein lies my problem with this movie. But I'll let you finish your thoughts and then I'll go into mine.
Lack of connective tissue to the series outside of Grogu and Mando are Grogu and Mando. But yeah, I went so good until he said, now back to you. But
you want me to talk, Wayne?
At the end of the day, like I said, it's a Star Wars movie. I still was entertained. I don't blame me dozing off a couple times on the movie. I blame it on working a 10-hour shift in 90-degree warehouse, being exhausted, and then going to sit in a nice, AC theater and then being relaxed because I'm watching 2 characters that I love. But is this movie a must-watch? If you're a fan of Mandalorian Grogu and you can't wait for it to hit Disney Plus, then go see it in theaters. It's still a Star Wars movie after all.
But even then, it's not a must-watch.
But like I said, if you are someone who can't afford to go to the theaters right now or doesn't want to waste that kind of money right now and are fans of Mandalorian Grogu, you guys can literally just wait for this to hit Disney Plus. And that's the other thing too. What I said about why was this a movie? Is this a finality of the series? If it is, there is no end of this. There is no like, and that's the story. It's like, so are we getting a season 4 or are we getting another Mando Grogu movie? Because the way this ends, this just felt like end of the episode, cast credits. We're getting some more next year, or we're getting some like it. There was never a part in this movie that I felt this is it. We're saying goodbye to these characters. Mm-hmm. Which once again, if we don't, because if this movie doesn't make the money or whatever, and they decide, yeah, we're just not going to continue anymore. Season 3 had kind of a perfect end. You know, it was they saved Mandalore, and Mando and Grogu got their little house on Navarro, and they're just relaxing and helping the New Republic. Then you add this to it, and it's like, all right, well, they're just off in the galaxy fucking doing their thing. That's just where they're at. Bye-bye. And so it just feels like this was an unnecessary film. And it's just like, it'd be one thing if it's like, oh, we just had to get, like MCU, it's like, oh, we just had to get something out because we haven't had anything out. But it's like, no, you've gone 7 years without a Star Wars movie. And Starfighter comes out next year, and Rogue Squadron will be the year or two after that.
Actually, eventually, that might become a Disney Plus show, I've heard.
Which is fine too. But and they already said that this movie was not what was going to be in season 4 of Mandalorian. So it's not like they rushed the first act.
Well, yes and no, because I saw an interview with Jon Favreau. He said there are several aspects of of what they were planning for season 4 that they did end up just reshaping into this movie, but then they added and changed a lot of it since then. So yeah.
So I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, you guys were not desperate to the point where you had to get a Star Wars movie out in theaters. You've gone since 2019 without a Star Wars movie. You have Starfighter coming out. You may or may not have Rogue Squadron, but then you also have the potential new Rey Skywalker trilogy coming. So
which has been indefinitely postponed. So it's like right now, aside from Starfighter, there are no theatrical films in the works right now. Nothing is in production.
Yeah, but it's just one of those things where it's like, this didn't need to happen.
Yeah.
So for me, it's still 3 stars because I still had fun. But in terms of if we're watching Star Wars, the movies, and not Star Wars, just the world, which I love the world. That's why it still gets 3 stars for me. If I didn't watch Mandalorian and I didn't watch all the shows, because I do watch them all, and like Brian, I watch all the animated stuff. I know all the characters. So when Zeb popped up, I was like, well, Zeb popped up in Mandalorian, but they didn't like acknowledge Zeb. He was just like there in the background. But for me, I'm going, there's Zeb. You know? But it's like, me, if like my dad, for instance, he watches The Mandalorian, but he doesn't watch any of the other shows and stuff. So if he watches it, yes, he'll love it because Grogu's in it. But is he gonna like grasp the story, or is he gonna go, I can't wait to watch that again, or I go, oh my god, it's like, you know, fucking Rogue One, where it's like, I can't wait to rewatch this. No, I mean, you're not. The only time I think I would ever go back and rewatch this is if I was rewatching Mandalorian before the next season starts, or I just want to rewatch Mandalorian for scratch, and then I'll watch Mandalorian Grogu. So it's 3 stars out of the love of the franchise of what Star Wars is, but in terms of the story and what message you're trying to tell or lack thereof, it's more like a 2.5. Like I said, there's nothing actively bad. Everything is just base level good. Nothing looks bad. Acting's not bad. Action sequences are solid throughout, but the story itself, there really isn't one. So for me, it's a 3, which is a big disappointment. But it's one of those disappointments where it's like, I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed because I just expected more, especially with Favreau directing and everything. I just expected more. I know you haven't really done your review. You kind of just been coming in and out. But is there anything that I haven't said that you want to add?
Well, you know, you covered a lot of it. My main thing I said in my review of it, I put on Letterboxd, was that my main problem with this movie is that it's completely insignificant, because all other Star Wars movies have been like these epic adventures where the fate of the galaxy is on the line. The whole, you know, all the episodes. or a pivotal moment like the stealing the Death Star plans that like really changed everything, or the history of the origins of a beloved character like with Han Solo in Solo. And this movie is just a random mission. This movie is just a week in the life of the Mandalorian. There's nothing significant about it. Like you said, there's no reason this needed to be a movie, because it felt just like some episodes of the show. Which when I eventually was trying to make my score for it, I had to, I was trying to decide. I was kind of flip flopping on a couple, and I'm like, well, if this was not Star Wars, if this was just the space adventure movie that I'm watching, what would I rate this movie? And I kind of had to do that because, like you said, it doesn't move the story. Nothing changes from the beginning of the movie to the end of the movie. I mean, some characters have been like captured or killed, but they're all characters that didn't exist as far as we were aware in the Star Wars universe before this. So nothing changed. The Mandalorian is still doing the work he's doing, and Grogu is still with him, and it's not, like you said. So I'm like, as far as being a part of the Star Wars universe, it does feel completely kind of pointless. It's just like, it's one more thing to watch, another piece of content to throw out there for people to watch. And yes, there was so much focus on Grogu and the cutesy little things he did, and even the noises he makes. And every time he did, my eyes were just kind of locked in a permanent role. Not just him, but also the I forget what they call them, the little Babu Frick creatures.
I don't remember what the characters are called, but like I said, we only know of the name of one of them.
Yeah, the Anzellans is apparently what they're called. Yeah, Shirley Henderson is just cast. Her cast list is just the voice of the Anzellans.
Yeah.
But they were to a lesser extent kind of the same thing. It's like, oh, look at the little cutesy things that we can market. We can sell toys of these, and they make little funny. And they actually sounded more like Minions than Grogu.
I was going to say they are the closest thing to
the Minions
Star Wars.
So
except they're smart.
but I had prepared myself for that because from the very first marketing of this movie all the way up to release, it was clear they were kind of aiming this at a younger audience. And I mean, Star Wars has always been for families, like anybody can go see it. But this one felt like it was focusing more on the things that kids would enjoy, at least in the marketing, the cutesy little Grogu or the Babu Freak and stuff. So I had prepared myself for that. And honestly, I think that expectations had a lot to do with it because you didn't expect huge things of it, but you love the show so much and all this that you came out disappointed. I went in here with like low expectations. I didn't think I'd hate it, but I thought I'd just be ambivalent to it. And I enjoyed it enough for what it was, even if it was completely insignificant. So, I mean, I was struggling between a 3-star and a 3.5 because it's like a 3.25 kind of for me. And I ended up, for the moment at least, I gave it the bump to 3.5 because, like I said, I looked at it like if this was not Star Wars, if I just went to see this random space adventure movie, what would I score it? And so for the moment, I put it to that. There's a chance it might get bumped down to 3. I don't know if I'm going to rewatch it ever. I mean, I'm sure I will at some point. I'll give it another shot just to watch it, or it might be the kind of Star Wars thing you can just put on the background because I don't need to focus on it.
You're not wrong.
So. But for now, I have it at 3.5. Like I said, it's more like a 3.25 in my mind. But for me, it's just more wasted opportunity because it's like Star Wars has been off of the biggest screen for the past 7 years. The TV shows have been super hit and miss, more miss for me. I think even the ones I like, I think are not great. I think they're all right. And then there's some that I just didn't like at all. And for me, who I have recently been talking about how I've kind of been falling out of love with Star Wars. I used to be this gigantic, huge fan where Star Wars was everything. And now I'm to the point where I almost wasn't even going to see this movie this weekend. I just saw it mainly because I had nothing else to do. So that really disappoints me in the fact that when they finally make their return to the big screen, it's just this, it's like they've so, over the past 10 years, well, 7 years at least, there's been so many potential Star Wars projects announced. With different Taika Waititi or the guys behind Game of Thrones, or even Kevin Feige was going to do one, or Ryan Johnson was supposed to do his own trilogy. They had all these things and Rogue Squadron that have been announced and then either completely canceled or backburnered, like that Rey movie that they said, okay, this is the next one. Oh no, wait, we're going to wait, hold up on that.
And now they're saying that they want to like retcon the new sequels. I'm like, no, we're not retconning shit.
They're not retconning anything. That's just fan rumors.
You made it. Live with it.
That's not an official thing. That's fan rumors and speculation. But it's like I feel like if they were going to come back to the big screen, they needed to come back with like a big, worthwhile movie, whether it be another episode or some other big adventure. And this just feels like, oh, we haven't had a movie in the theaters for a while. Just Let's take Mandalorian, put that on movie instead.
I still am just waiting for them to do a Knights of the Old Republic. Like, I get the Acolyte didn't wow people, but now Acolyte apparently has gained a following again now that it's been canceled. Like, it's one of the more watched shows on Disney Plus right now. It's like, where the fuck was this when it was on? Kind of thing. But let's just go back to 1,000 years ago. Like, you're not going to have anything with the Skywalker saga. You're tell new stories, but you got to also let the fans also have to kind of be open to that. Like, people say we want this, but then they did something like the Acolyte, and it's like, oh no, fuck this show. And it's like,
well, to be fair, a lot of things about the Acolyte sucked. I mean,
it had
its good points.
It had some amazing points.
But then there's a lot of stuff that didn't work for it too, especially when you bait and switch people, like saying Carrie-Anne Moss is starring in it. Oh wait, she's dead in the first episode. Fuck.
Yeah, or the Jedi Wookiee, and the Jedi Wookiee is dead in 2 seconds.
But we love Manny Jacinto in it. Manny Jacinto is awesome. But that's just the thing is I think Star Wars just has this identity crisis where they don't know what they want to do with it. It's like they want to, continue the stories, but they want to tell different stories, but then they don't know what to do when, and everything's getting confused. And like with this one, there's been nowhere. As far as I know, they have not greenlit any kind of Mandalorian season 4. So my understanding is that these characters just could continue on in other projects. Like, they've talked about a big crossover project that will involve, Ahsoka and Mandalorian and all these kind of things finally come together from the Mandoverse shows. Yeah. And Jon Favreau said, "Oh yeah, big plans for Grogu. He's going to be, a big part of the series or the Star Wars franchise going forward," which doesn't make me happy to hear him say that.
Please start talking, because I'm so tired of the.
That's the problem. Is the minute he's not a baby anymore, though, he's not cutesy. People aren't going to buy the toys.
As soon as he gets a voice, people are either going to be annoyed by it or over it at that point. Yeah. And so that because I was thinking, it was like, now if they had made Grogu talk in this, there's your like, that's why it's a movie, because Grogu finally speaks. And he's
it'd be a pivotal moment where a big progression,
and it doesn't happen. What's funny is because like I said, I had just gone back and rewatched all this, and Kimberly had never seen any of it. Like, she knew like who Din Djarin is and Grogu is, because who the fuck doesn't? He's out there all over the place, but she had never watched a single episode. What'd you say? She never called him Baby Yoda. You did call him Grogu at one point, like a Dragon Ball Z character. But anyway.
It's Goku. Yeah.
But anyway, she was watching it, and she was getting kind of jokingly frustrated, because she's like, God, another fucking side quest. Every episode, it's like, here's the goal. But first, we got to do the side quest, like a video game first. And the funny thing about this movie is was the main goal is to capture these Imperial officers. Okay. They get one in the beginning of the movie. The next one is to find this one. But first, we have to do the side quest with the Hutts. And then they're doing the side quest. They accomplish the mission, but then the side quest becomes the fucking main mission. And it's like, I am more interested in what the actual main fucking mission is.
It's just like every video game you ever played, where you're like, you go to somebody and like, I can give you this information, but first I need you to go retrieve this for me. And it's just like that. Yeah, it's side quest.
But then the whole game ended up being the fucking side mission. And it's like, I didn't want to play the side mission. I want to stay on the main adventure. That's what this movie was a whole side mission. And then the movie ends, you're like, oh fuck no, we forgot the main objective. Credits. It's like that's what this movie is. I honestly, do you have anything for spoiler? Because I honestly don't think I have anything to talk about spoiler wise.
There's nothing to spoil. There
really isn't. Like, I mean, we could point out like individual scenes, but at the same time, it's like, they're not necessary to talk about.
Yeah, and there's nothing spoilerific that happens. There's no major deaths, anything like that. Nobody, like we said, nobody changes anything. Any scene we would talk about, you've at least seen glimpses of in the trailer, so it wouldn't be spoiling anything. I will say the stupidest fucking thing in the movie is having Martin Scorsese randomly do a voice. That annoyed me. That's just.
I remember when the credits were on, and I saw him. I'm like, Scorsese's in this? And
as soon as I heard him start talking, I'm like, oh,
God, like there he is. Yeah. And it's like, once again, it's just like, I think you made this argument. It was on. I don't know if it was on episode or if it was just us talking. And we were like, when did all the aliens in this universe just start talking normal?
Yeah.
Like, why is everyone just like why is this alien talking like he's from like fucking Jersey, or so? Like, why? It's like when did all the aliens in Star Wars lose their like alien language.
It used to be all the aliens spoke in alien languages, and occasionally you'd come across one who, spoke English to people.
Or you had a C-3PO who could,
who would translate for them. And now it's just like, nope, they're all just like little, just talking English, just in different weird, whether it be a Jersey accent or, Asian accent.
Or what's his name from season 2 who's got a Boston accent? It's like, is there fucking Boston in a galaxy far, far away? Because you got a thick Boston accent, brother. It's just it takes the aura of what Star Wars is away. I'm not saying that you can't cast people who have those, but what was the point of casting Martin Scorsese as this alien? Like I said, it's same to the Jeremy Allen White point. Why are we casting names to voice these aliens that you're never going to see their faces? And when you could just get some fantastic voice actors to just do these voices. Like the one character that we meet in the third act, Gatori, or it's Gator with an I at the end. So I don't know how they're going to say it because I don't think they ever say his name in the actual movie. At first it sounded like Samuel L. Jackson, and I'm like, motherfuckers, is they casting Samuel L. Jackson in another role? And it's not him. It's Stephen McKinley Henderson.
Yeah.
Which I know him from other things, but he's not a big enough of a name to go, oh, but it was like, he's a great voice actor. And you weren't sitting there going, oh, why didn't they? No, he did his job. It was a really well done thing. And even Dave Filoni was the bounty hunter, the badass bounty hunter who's in the movie. But I think that's what kind of disappoints me most about this is that this was Filoni. Dave Filoni took over for Kathleen Kennedy. This was his first movie taking over the helm. It's like when James Gunn took over DC and Feige took over the MCU. You are supposed to be the guy who's supposed to be the savior of Star Wars, and James Gunn knocked it out with Creature Commandos and Peacemaker and the Suicide Squad and Superman. MCU, obviously, Feige had Iron Man and all this stuff. Like, he did. And with Filoni, like, yes, you did Clone Wars and Rebels and Mandalorian, but this is your first movie, and if anything, you just did the safest thing you possibly could do.
Well, that's the problem is Dave Filoni. I mean, obviously he has got the future. He's got a long future ahead of him. We can see what he does with it.
And I fully believe in him. I love Dave Filoni. It's just that
right, but he takes this and all he does is like just push. He's just pushing all the characters that he's created. It's the Clone Wars characters. It's the stuff from Rebels. It's all these things. And he puts himself in not only the voice of Emma, but also as one of the pilots. So in live
he's kind of the guy at the bar, though.
No, he's one of the pilots at the end too.
I know he is.
The spoilers.
He really have.
Yeah, but actually, and all those pilots were directors of episodes of the show.
Yeah, you had Rick Fukuhara.
It's Rick Famuyiwa, Deborah Chow, Lee Isaac Chung.
We didn't get Bryce Dallas Howard though.
No.
Where the fuck was she? We said we got Sigourney Weaver, who, I'm sorry, love her. She would not still be a pilot. She would not fucking be a pilot anymore. She would be a commander, like she looked like on the base. She would not be in an X-wing flying around anymore. She would not be of age for that shit.
She seems the kind of person for me that probably when they asked her to be in the movie, she's like, okay, but I get to fly an X-wing.
I guarantee you that was probably in her contract. But yeah, it's just with Filoni, it's just I fully trust in him. And I'm not mad that he's bringing his characters in because you know why? Those characters are amazing. You've heard me ad nauseum, I know, praise the animated characters that they've created. Ahsoka being the main one, and that's why I loved Ahsoka season 1 because they were bringing in the characters from Rebels, and I'm like, yes, these are amazing characters. Darth Maul is so much more of a fucking awesome character because of Dave Filoni and Sam Witwer than what we got to see in Phantom Menace, but no one knows it because no one fucking watched the animated series. So I'm excited that Filoni is bringing these characters to the fold because they deserve to be in the forefront.
And as far as progressing the story, I wanted to see more of Darth Maul where they left him off at the end of Solo.
Which the new animated show Maul is actually before Solo. So because Paul Bettany's character is still alive on the animated show. But it's just you gotta take some risks, Filoni. Like, just do it, man. Like, I fully back you, and I want you to excel better than what Kathleen Kennedy. I want people to love Star Wars again, but you got to give us something other than a super safe Mando Grogu.
Yeah, this felt like a safe. We need to get some content on the big screen. Let's just throw this up there.
Yeah. Hey, we were already kind of figuring out Mando season 4. Let's just throw this out there to wet the tongue. Ahsoka's coming out next year. Starfire's coming out next year. And then we'll go from there. And that's what it felt like at the end of the day. Anything else you'd like to add?
Yeah, pretty much covers it.
All right. We hope you guys enjoyed this review. If you guys did, go ahead and hit that like, share, and subscribe button to the channel so you guys stay up to date with all the latest for the pop up on the Movie Crusaders. Of course, follow us on all the social media outlets you see below. Also, don't forget to follow us on Spotify, Apple, and Amazon Music, which we are now on. So in case you guys can't watch us, you can listen to us. So we are on there now. Coming up next, probably won't be back until probably weekend of June 5th because Sean's moving, so the set's going to change and everything's going to be done, and I got to do that stuff, so I can't shoot.
But there's not much coming out next week anyway, except like
next
back rooms.
Week,
so,
we got what? We got back rooms. We've got there's like 3 movies that come out, but they're not like big movies. I know back rooms is one.
It's back rooms, the breadwinner, pressure, and tuner.
Yeah, which I'm sorry, none of those were going to be ones we were going to talk about on the channel.
No.
So it's not like you guys are going to be missing us because when we come back, we got Masters of the Universe, we got Scary Movie 6. So we'll also be nearing the end of the first half of the year, so we'll be having our first half kind of breakdown. So
but your list is already surprising me. If you asked me 6 months ago what it would look like, this was not it.
Oh no, my top 10 is I'm not even saying that in a bad way. My top 10.
Oh, not in a bad way, no.
I would never have predicted my top 10 this year so far. But we hope you guys enjoyed this, and we will see you guys here in probably 2 weeks when we 100% will be talking about Masters of the Universe. I am hoping to see Scary Movie 6 as well. We could maybe do a double review. It will just depend on my availability with the move and everything and how chaotic everything's going to be. I'm definitely not going to miss Masters of the Universe. Scary Movie 6, I'm like, on. So, but I'll probably make myself watch it for the channel. Even though I have zero expectations for this film. Brian this is going to be the flip of Mando and Grogu as Scary Movie 6 between me and Brian. But anyway, we are the Movie Crusaders. I'm Sean Waskrug. That is Brian Michaels. And until next time, in case we don't see you, go watch some movies and go have some fun.
You're still here. It's over. Go home.